Good evening, Fernwood. It is your nosy neighbor Neil, and it's time for us to get up to some hijinks with another episode of Mary Hartman, Mary Hartman. Today we are watching episode 207 from January 18th, 1976. Let's take a look at yesterday, which began with Charlie at the hospital meeting a doctor who wanted him to fill out a lot of paperwork. They found a purse that was connected to Loretta, and the doctor said that Charlie could go in to look for her. And in the room, we see what Charlie believes to be Loretta. Philip ran over to the Hartman residence to get help because Garth was beating Patty again. Mary wanted to run over to help immediately, but Tom was much more ambivalent about the situation and felt like they shouldn't get involved, and Mary thought that she would get help from the helpline. Brian Adams got a visit from Kathy, who made clear that she understood that the contract she signed was not valid. However, after she takes the check, she does ask for one chance to look at the baby, and she gets to look at him. Garth got ready for work, leaving Patty locked in the closet. Mary Hartman comes in and realizes she's inside and unlocks her, and she is catatonic. Mary sits with the traumatized Patty and does her best to comfort her, and offers the suggestion of the Women's Collective of Greater Fernwood or visiting a minister might be a place to go. Patty really does need options. And then over at the Capri Lounge, the men of the factory are together along with Mac Slattery talking about the Olinsky report. Charlie and Mac trade some notes about the women that they love, not realizing that those women live in the same body. After those two leave, the other men continue jabbing about the Olinsky report and how mad it is making them, as May Olinsky walks in. And of course, May used to work at the factory, so she tries to sit down with him and socialize, but it's perhaps awkward. And May is firm in her resolve to continue with the Olinsky report to help improve the sex lives of women all over the world, though she's dismissed by the men generally, and that raises her ire and says, if you want to ride me out of town on a rail, then that's what you'll have to do. And Garth suggests that they are ready to go there, and the men raise up. And everyone, that was episode 206. Let's take a look at episode 207.
Mary Hartman! Mary Hartman! Hello.
Welcome, Mrs. Gimble.
Oh, no, I'm Mary Hartman, but forget about me. She's the one steeped in humiliation.
Well, please sit down. So, you're new in the community?
Actually, I'm from Fernwood. That's 30 miles east of here.
Fernwood, it's very pretty, a lovely town.
Yeah, we like it.
You're here for religious instruction, Mrs. Gimble?
Oh, no, she's not Jewish.
Who recommended me? The Hadassah, the B'nai B'rith?
I did.
She got your name through the Fernwood Feminist Hotline. Well, you see, I have an extreme domestic problem, and the Feminist Collective suggested that I talk to a clergyman.
Why not a minister of her own faith?
Well, why don't I just stay out of this now? She didn't have one, is it?
You see, Fernwood is such a small town that I didn't want any of my friends. I wanted to find someone that none of my friends in Fernwood, under any circumstances, would run into.
And that, of course, would be a rabbi.
Yeah.
So what's the dark secret? Would a little fresca help?
Oh!
Ruth! Fresca, Ruth.
Right away.
All right, Mrs. Gimble. I want to hear. You must hold nothing back. Nothing.
Why don't I wait in the car while you two kids talk? Okay? Really, it's okay, really. I just don't like to interfere in other people's problems, you know. And listen, you know, if you need anything, just honk. That's all, or I'll honk. Whatever, you know? It's simple as that.
Thank you, Ruth. Now then, Mrs. Gimble, what seems to be the problem?
Well, I have a husband who blames me for everything from his job loss to the Dallas loss in the Super Bowl, who humiliates me in front of our few remaining friends, who made me give up my one pleasure in life, my job, who uses my head as a mop to sweep the floors, who drop kicks me from the kitchen to the foyer, who has caused me with his abuse to have premature gray hairs, and because he is so disgusted by my appearance, he yanks them out, and who hangs me in the closet like an old coat.
You're telling me your husband beats you?
Yes. I think I'm a battered wife. Does that sound right to you?
What's right? What's wrong?
But surely you think I should leave him.
Maybe yes, maybe no.
But your Jewish Bible says an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth.
My dear lady, this is not a dental problem. You cannot extract a wife from a marriage like a molar. Your Christian Bible teaches turn the other cheek.
But I did that already. And the elbow and the thigh. I've run out of parts.
You seem to be a very understanding woman.
But, Rabbi, I don't understand. I don't understand anything. I need answers.
Now, the Talmud teaches that we must ask the right questions to gain the right answers. Now, what exactly are you asking me, my dear woman?
I am asking you if I should leave my husband.
Aha! Well, as you know, Mrs. Gimble, a good wife is a husband's helpmate, his good right arm. But in your case, your husband seems already to have a more than adequate right arm, as well as a right jab, not to mention a right cross. Under these circumstances, given the physical and psychological abuse you've taken, and the fact that you've exhausted all possibilities, I believe, in all good conscience, that you can and should leave this man.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Rabbi Weintraub, thank you. That is my decision. At last. To be free. It's so wonderful knowing that my son and I can begin a new life.
Son? What son?
My little boy, Garth Jr.
You never mentioned the son.
You never asked.
Well, don't you know that the family unit is sacred? A son? A son is a gift. A father's hope for immortality. A man can always replace a wife, but never a son. To take a son away from his father, oh, that would be unforgivable. How could you even think of breaking up a sanctified union? God smiles upon a family.
God, then God agrees with Garth, too? Am I so low and selfish?
Understanding comes slowly to some people. But don't forget, Jerusalem wasn't built in a day. I will guide you, and my door is always open. Except for right now. It's almost sundown and it's the Sabbath. So meanwhile, for the sake of your son, return to your husband. And remember, it's always darkest after sundown.
Lou, isn't it a little bit early in the morning for you to be drinking yourself into oblivion?
Never too early for that. Not when you know that you're not going to be somebody.
Oh, hell, Lou, why don't you get back there and wash and shave your face, have yourself a cup of hot, strong coffee, and let's just sit down and talk about what's wrong.
There's nothing wrong. Except the only thing that mattered in my life, you.
Has Lou got himself a little old case of puppy love? Oh, Lou, that's so sweet.
It ain't puppy love. So now you're going out and get married to that bum, Max Slattery.
Heck, I just told him I'd consider his proposal, that's all. It's the best offer I'd had all day. Anyway, you know, Lou, that you're my big old sugar daddy, darling.
Don't call me your daddy.
You don't want to be my daddy? All right, how about Little Precious? And if Lulu's Little Precious doesn't want her marrying Max Slattery, well, she just won't marry him. If you got something better to offer.
What could that bum offer you?
Good time. Max Slattery can buy me a real good time. I mean, I'm just too young to drown myself in the blues, you know?
There's my girl. Boy, you look good enough to eat right now.
Well, hi there, darling. I tell you, you're just... I could just go for you in big helpings. You got a body that don't quit, darling.
I got a sussy for you.
Oh, what?
A sussy surprise.
Where?
Just take a gawk at that.
A ring. Oh. A ring with a little teensy-weensy itty-bitty diamond in it. Look at there, Lou. Got me an engagement ring. Sears and Roebuck.
Why don't you get yourself a noose?
I better straighten something out with him. I'll tell you what, get us a private table over there, okay? Real pretty ring, isn't it? Look at it, Lou. It's funny how diamonds always just seem to automatically fit. Don't worry, Lou. I'm just going to wear it till it turns my finger green.
You see this?
Mm-hmm.
This is the title for this property. I'm putting it up for sale.
Oh, Lou, you are going to get me out of this dump. You're going to take me away to San Clemente where all the rich people are, aren't you? Oh, we're going to have such a fabulous time. It's very wild, you know, in San Clemente. Lou, you do treat me better than anybody else does.
Hey, Lulu, did you get me a brew?
It's really not fair for me to leave Mac all by himself. We're going to have a great time in San Clemente. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Oh, can I help you, lady?
Yeah, thank you. You can. I was on my way back to Fernwood, and I took the wrong road.
Oh, you go out here now and pick up Highway 402. Highway 402 South.
South.
And you'll see the town if you don't wink.
If you don't wink. That is funny. You do know Fernwood.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you very, very much. Excuse me. Bye.
Bye.
Get me some beer, too. Great action.
No, I can drink alone.
Who was that?
Some lady looking for Fernwood.
No kidding. God, I've been hearing an awful lot about that Fernwood place. It's real popular, isn't it? Wonder if Fernwood is wilder than San Clemente. Maybe we'll go there.
Yes, is this the Bidewee Motel? Yes, I wonder if I could ask you a question there. Is there by any chance a lady running around the premises by the name of Wanda Jetta or Jeter? I guess it's Jeter. Wanda Jeter? Right. Well, I was just wondering if you had by any chance seen her in the vicinity of Miss Olinsky's room. Yes. You have not? No. I don't want to talk to Miss Olinsky. Well, never mind who this is. Hey, Mary.
Hi.
How are you?
How are you?
Good night. How you doing?
I'm fine.
Good.
I stopped by to bring you a combination mayor and housewarming gift, and for God's sake, it is not a bribe.
Oh, all right. Well, isn't that sweet? My gosh, I'm just pleased as punch to see you, I tell you.
Well, I'm pleased as soda to see you.
Right.
Is Wanda home?
No, not yet, Mary. Well, I'll tell you the truth. Actually, we're having some rough waves here on a little sea of bliss lately.
Oh, Merle.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Sudden fame can often ruin one's love life. I read that in Screen Gem's anniversary issue. Do you subscribe?
No, I don't, but I will look into that.
You should.
Yeah, I will. I tell you what, Wanda, though, she's out more than she's in lately. She's been, hostessing some of these little luncheons for the ladies and things, and cutting the ribbons on police cars and doing stuff like that. She's granting an interview to one of them scandal rags, with passed for a respectable newspaper.
Oh, well, you're not referring to the quote from the Harold Clemens
That's the
interview,
one.
are you?
Yeah.
What is it, equal opportunity of enjoyment in the bedroom?
Yeah, that's it.
Gee, Merle, I thought that was very informative. Catchy phrase, I thought.
Catchy? It is catchy. You're right there.
If foreplay is fair play,
Well, yeah, Mary, but on the other hand...
at least lately.
Lately,
Yeah.
right. But you see, from my viewpoint, the way I figured is if God wanted women to notice, special parts about themselves, and he probably would have made those particular parts more evident, like he did with men. You know what I mean?
Right.
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 Hey, that's enough of this smut and filth, okay? Come on in here a minute, will you? Come on in. Sit down there.
Thanks.
Let's talk about something else. Gosh, we get deep there at the door like that, no? Well, let's see. What do we talk about here? I guess we could talk about you. You're looking exceptional and adorable in your little outfit there. Got them braids going for you, don't you?
Yeah.
That's great. I tell you, Tom Hartman's a lucky man to have a wife that don't look any older than her teenage daughter.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Well, it's true.
I have a lot of anxiety, though.
Huh?
And trouble.
Oh. Like what?
Tom. We're broke, and he's working the double shift, and just so we can pay the money we owe and to help my family to pay the money that they owe.
Gosh, Mary, is there anything I could do to help?
Save my mother's house.
Yeah, I tell you, probably what I ought to do on this thing is bring in my blue ribbon ring of experts there. Gonna take a little time, but yeah, I think maybe you and me ought to get together real soon and talk about this thing. You're just looking great.
Thanks, I have to go, Merle. See, what I have to do is I have to see if I can find enough safety pins so that I can pin up a lot of blankets in the garage in case my poor parents are just thrown out into the cold of the bitter Fernwood cold area.
Will you give my love to your folks then? Give Kathy a kiss for me for her baby.
Hi, May.
Oh, hi, Wanda. I'm just mapping out my strategy.
Oh, wow. Looks like an attack plan from World War II.
I guess it does. But you know, I like to think of it as a revelation, an enlightenment.
Well, no matter how you think of it, some people are going to fight it.
Oh, I hope not.
Well, don't let it bother you. Some people aren't happy unless they're fighting every single issue.
You know, Wanda, I am disturbed. In our effort to open doors, we've closed minds, especially with the men in this town who seem so threatened by all the publicity.
Oh, yeah. Men do hate publicity, unless it's about their virility.
Well, maybe we should let up on the public aspects of this project and concentrate on more honest fact-finding.
You mean no protests, no marches, no buttons? Oh, well, May, I just had that whole button campaign designed. Well, you're taking the backbone out of the whole campaign.
Yes, but the purpose of the campaign was to establish communication. And Wanda, communication is not opening up. It is shutting down.
Well, all causes take time.
Well, I have heard of case after case of husbands and wives taking opposite sides of the issue and refusing even to speak to one another. Now, I came to Fernwood to write a book, not to start a riot.
May, listen, you have a responsibility to educate the oppressed women of Fernwood, of Ohio.
But blackmail and harassment is not educational.
What good is knowledge without action? Now, it takes a rare woman to be a leader of men, May, and I am just such a woman, but I need your help. Look, we can turn this town upside down. Now, this issue goes way beyond the bedroom. We're going to take sex into the streets.
Well, that's not exactly what I had in mind. I mean, it's difficult enough to handle it in the bedroom.
No, trust me, May. Look, tomorrow night, I am taping an editorial on Channel 6, WZAZ, local news, you know. It's sort of a call to arms to all women. Now, I anticipate struggle, but a woman's body is her final weapon, her doomsday machine. And if we don't get what we want, I am going to demand a boycott.
A boycott of what? The supermarkets?
No. A boycott of bed.
You mean?
Yes, May. No foreplay, no fair play.
Oh! God. What is that? Oh my God! What is it? Oh!
Come on, everyone. Up against the wall.
What is it?
Freeze. Nobody move.
Which is it? Freeze or wall?
Come on, this is a raid. Over there.
Right.
There, let me take a look.
Okay. Feels more like a wild Saturday night.
Would you like me to read you your rights?
Hey, what are you doing with that?
Our so-called rights are spelled out in that document, which you're even now impounding. Hey,
You
Wait a
see
minute.
that? That's my word.
You're interfering with the law, lady. Yes.
Oh, who has ordered this hypocrisy?
I've got orders not to tell you nothing, lady.
Orders from whom?
The Mayor's Commission on Community Standards.
Well, now, who heads the Commission on Community Standards?
Tom Hartman runs that commission, that's who.
Oh, no. It's revenge. Oh, he's never forgiven me for giving him VD. Oh, no.
So Mary brings Patty to a religious official who is a rabbi, it appears, somewhere out of town, probably close to Dayton, and 30 miles out of Fernwood. Why a rabbi in this case? Because apparently none of their friends would run into a rabbi. Patty pleads her case. And in this case, the rabbi, up until a certain point, says that leaving Garth is a good plan. And that's until Patty reveals that Philip exists. It's a bit of a horror to me that the fact of Philip's existence is the thing that makes a difference between Patty and her life. And I think maybe that's because you can counsel beyond just stay with your husband. I feel like there's more counseling that needs to be had here. Even if you're on the side of keeping Philip with Garth for some reason. And Philip does not love Garth. There are so many more dimensions to this relationship than are covered by he's beating you, leave, oh wait, you've got a son, then stay. There's more to it than that. Obviously Patty has some love for Garth, but even that's not enough for her to stay on her own. But the fact that Philip exists, that there's a son, and taking the son away from the father, well, that's just simplistic. It shows at least 2 layers to the things that Patty is thinking about. And I feel like those are the reasons that Patty was on the fence. The fact of little Garth just being present, that was the reason that she stayed in the first place. And so really, there is no effect of this meeting other than that Patty has said out loud what happens to her, which maybe is the only good to come of this scene, because essentially Patty's going home, and as far as at least one religious counselor is concerned, she's got a path. And then Loretta, or rather Lulu, who is just mean and selfish, but she's playing Lou for as much as she can get out of him, and she's playing Mac for a ring in this case, and playing them against each other. Mainly it's a place for Lulu to be until Loretta comes back. We get a visit from Patty, who is lost on the highway somehow, and I imagine that Mary is in the car. Patty comes in and doesn't recognize Loretta, and that is just the hint of 2 dots that need to be connected. And Lulu, I'm still getting the names confused, but Lulu thinks that Fernwood might be an interesting place to check out, which I think is where things will go eventually. And then, what the heck? Merle calling the Bide-A-Wee Motel, first of all to see if Wanda and May are still hanging out together, but then Mary shows up with a housewarming present. Apparently the flirting subtext that has been going on between them went somewhere. And though it is couched in "please send a kiss to Kathy for me," they were kissing for themselves, and it's really clear. Yeah, it was gross. Not because 2 people were kissing, but because those 2 people were kissing. The things that Merle admires about Mary, I mean, I guess there's a whole section of videos that are about that, but pigtails and short dresses. It seems shallow to me. Although I know that Mary Hartman is a complex person, Merle's attraction seems shallow. And that very awkward will they or won't they kiss, and then it is a will they, and it goes on for a little longer than I would have expected, and I believe that Mary leaves it kind of wondering what she's done, not verbally but on her face. And then we're at the Bide-A-Wee Motel with May and Wanda, and they are planning, or rather Wanda is frightened by the heightening of suggestion of violence yesterday, and sees that the men aren't listening. And that's sad, because sex could be better if people listened. However, Wanda proposes a strike, Lysistrata, or Lysistrata, depending on how you choose to pronounce it. I've heard both of those pronunciations. The classic anti-war play where the women of, I forget which Greek city, go on sex strike to stop a war. And this is a war between the sexes. Of course, causing a drought could be a thing. So that's interesting. But then, boom, the police break through the door, and of course the commissioner of the dealio is Tom. And May's response is that it's revenge for giving him VD a year ago, which wasn't even VD. It was the risk of VD. So, sexually transmitted diseases, in case you've forgotten what VD is. So everyone, that was our episode today. Lots of things going on. My gut is getting checked right now, and it feels pretty much like it's dropped out of my belly. So everyone, thank you for watching with me. Thank you for leaving your thoughts and feelings in the comments. Thank you for being here, and we will see you tomorrow night in Fernwood.